Rich Swann, Kenny Omega, and the future of professional wrestling as we know it. Welcome everybody to another episode of Wrestling Expose. This is your boy Gun Hill Bane in the building. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Gun Hill Bane in the building, as you can see right there below. So, it has been a long time, folks, and I have been busy doing a lot of rehearsals for a Broadway play in the city coming out very soon, as you can see. I'm Mr. Hollywood in terms of that. So just be patient with me. You will get more videos from me very, very soon. So let's get right down to it, shall we? Yes, the big event taking place Saturday, April the 29th, 2021. The battle between Kenny Omega and Rich Swann for both titles on the line, which basically means if Rich Swann defeats Kenny Omega, he becomes the AEW champion. But if Kenny Omega beats Rich Swann, he becomes the Impact World Champion. And what does it mean? So we're going to talk about the scenarios that will happen, right? And what will it mean for the wrestling world as we know it, right? So, I come up with 3 scenarios which will happen during this match, right? But first, I want to say, I haven't seen Dynamite tonight as of this video, right? So, I have no idea whether or not anyone from Dynamite made a mention that this pay-per-view was going to take place and that Kenny Omega's AEW championship is on the line. I mean, honestly, you're paying all this money to make sure you get yourself an ad on Impact. You invite the AEW champion over to Impact Wrestling. And not even once did you help promote this pay-per-view. So you just expect that people who are watching Dynamite will just switch over to Impact's pay-per-view and see what happens? I mean, my God. What does Impact got to do to generate fans around here? Which makes me feel that this entire matchup, it feels a little bit screwy. But we're going to get right down to it. We're going to get to it in a moment. So anyway, 3 scenarios I think of. Number 1. Rich Swann defeating Kenny Omega and becoming the new AEW champion. I just want to say that is not going to happen at all in any shape, way, or form. Let me tell you this. Will it be great to basically see a swerve, to see a change of the guard per se? Yeah, it will be very shocking for television. It will be very shocking, but honestly, what would Rich Swann do as the AEW champion? Huh? You got to show up to Dynamite, and who is he going to defend the title against? Huh? Jon Moxley, Brian Cage, all these big guys out there. Cody probably. I mean, listen, I know he's a great competitor and all, but just look at him. He's just not the type of guy you see running the company, which is AEW. I mean, heck, he wasn't supposed to be the guy winning the Impact Championship, in my honest opinion. That title should belong to Moose. See, Moose and Kenny Omega, that would have been an awesome main event. That would have been the main event to take a look at. All right. I mean, I love Moose. I love his work ethic. I love his style. He looks like a star. He's built like a star. And then Kenny, but Rich Swann, God love him. He looks like a cockroach. All right. He just looks like a cockroach. Just look at him. He doesn't fit the mold. He doesn't fit the mold of what being a champion is supposed to be like. So That's not happening, right? I 110% sure it's not going to happen. So scenario number 2, there'll be a screwy finish and neither man will win the titles. Now, during the press conference, both Tony Khan and Scott D'Amore, they insisted that there will be no screwy finishes and that there will be a definite winner. Though I know they say that, chances are we don't know until the pay-per-view happens. And let's be very honest with ourselves. On Impact Wrestling, I promise my fans that there will be a double champion next Saturday. And I want you to spend your hard-earned money in terms of seeing it. Do you really want to screw over your fan base like that, Impact Wrestling, by denying them a double champion? Now, AEW, they made the mistake of doing that with Revolution, right? And although it was a very fantastic pay-per-view, it was headlined by Moxley versus Kenny Omega in an exploding barbed wire death match. And even though it was a great match, what happened with the finish? It sucked. It was trash, all right? You saw it. I don't have to show you. You all know what's happening. The fact of the matter is, you cannot allow that type of shit to happen again. You just cannot. The fans deserve to see a double champion. So, scenario number 2, I see it unlikely. It could be a possibility, but highly unlikely. Which means we go to scenario number 3. And that means Kenny Omega, the belt collector, the god of pro wrestling, according to Don Callis, he is going to be the Impact World Heavyweight Champion, and he is going to be a 2-belt holder in 2 different promotions, not even including the AAA title that he has in Mexico. So, let's tackle on a little bit with scenario number 3, shall we? What does it mean to the world of professional wrestling? Well, what it means is that if the storyline is correct, Kenny Omega is basically going from promotion to promotion and showing the entire world exactly why he is the best pop machine, why he is the best in-ring performer in professional wrestling, right? And to prove that, you go out of your way to another organization, you grab the title, and then that's it. Now, it opens the floodgates completely in terms of what Tony Khan says, right? He's the invisible door, all right? He is the one who is going to allow talent to flow from Impact Wrestling over to AEW and vice versa. So there could be a plenty of challengers that can actually come in and challenge Kenny Omega for it, right? But I have this one scenario that I was thinking about here, right? After Kenny Omega beats Rich Swann, where else does he go? Nowhere, really. I mean, you could go to ROH and go after those titles, but what's the money doing that? Now, MLW, they have their champion in was it Joseph Fatu, right? And they're actually getting a deal going with Vice so they could be on national television. But does Kenny Omega really want to go after Jacob Fatu? I don't think so. So it begs the question, who will be the next challenger to Kenny Omega, right? We all know that Kenny Omega has dominated opponents using the one-ringed angel, and which Swann will not kick out of. Now, we also know that Hangman Adam Page is the guy that they are booked to beating Kenny Omega and being the first guy to kick out of the one-ringed angel. But that program, that arc, isn't going to happen until the fall. Maybe through All Out, or more importantly, Full Gear, which I believe will be the time in which Hangman Page defeats Kenny Omega and then usher in 2022 as the new AEW champion. So what happens during that time, from the summer now all the way to Full Gear? Well, I mean, John Moxley could challenge him again for it, and it could be, the third time's the charm type of scenario, but we already seen what these two can do in the ring, so it won't make any difference to any of us, right? So who can challenge it? Who will be the guy who want to step in and challenge Kenny Omega and prove to him that he is the god of pro wrestling? And I know one person who can be able to do that. Kota Ibushi. Yes, Kota Ibushi. Now, for those who haven't watched New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kota Ibushi was the man destined to lead New Japan to greater heights. He was the man who had merged both the IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight titles into the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But at Sakura Genesis, he lost the title to Will Ospreay, which many people were scratching their heads as to why would that happen? Why, after investing so much time and effort in Kota Ibushi having to lead New Japan into greater heights, why would you just allow him to drop the title to Will Ospreay? And I think I know why. For two reasons, right? Number one, in terms of New Japan's side of the table, having Will Ospreay become the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, it will help in the English markets, most notably UK and the United States of America, because it's more fitting and more stylish to have an English-speaking wrestler representing the biggest company in Japan, right? So in their perspective, you want to build up your market, and it's going to open to a lot of people. Will Ospreay is going to be the guy to lead New Japan to greatness. So that's why I feel on their end they did it. Kota Ibushi, on the other hand, it's obvious he has no ties to any organization whatsoever. I thought he did when he signed that multi-year contract with New Japan, but it seems to me is that Kota Ibushi does whatever Kota Ibushi wants, right? You see him fight in ROH. You see him briefly in the WWE in the Cruiserweight Classic. I mean, he bounced back and forth between Japan and Mexico. So he has no ties. And now that he has dropped the title, you noticed anyone who is watching New Japan, he hasn't been around. He hasn't been around. He hasn't challenged anybody. He hasn't even spoken a single word since he lost the title to Will Ospreay. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, I remember one interview before that Kenny Omega said that he is bigger than any other ring competitor on the planet. Bigger than Hogan, bigger than Stone Cold, and more importantly, bigger than Ibushi. Also, we all know that Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi are best friends. You know, They formed a tag team called the Golden Lovers, and they have went roughshod all over from DDT to New Japan, and basically that it is to it. My guess right now is that Kota Ibushi will make his appearance in AEW immediately after when Kenny Omega wins the Impact Championship. And that will be a program that's going to stretch pretty well all the way to the fall, in my honest opinion. It is a great money-making match. And on top of that, there could be a big possibility for Kenny Omega to challenge the IWGP champion, whoever it may be. Now, for those who may think it could be Will Ospreay, that's a great possibility. But if people were watching the New Japan, they notice a little wrinkle. They notice something special around here. And I'll tell you what I mean in a moment, right? For anyone watching the Road to Wrestling Otaku, I hope I'm making it, correct in terms of that. You will notice that there are going to be two big matches along the horizon, right? One big match is going to feature Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi, right? And that will be for the championship. And then the winner of that, and I may be blowing this thing up, but hopefully you will see the picture. Whoever wins that will face off in May against Okada. That's right. Kazuchika Okada. And if my memory serves correct, Okada versus Omega for the AEW NJPW Championship. That will be a money-making event. My guess is in this summer, New Japan will work exclusively along with AEW and will open the floodgates even more. That's what I think. So the path moving forward to the Saturday, and we're going to find out if I am correct about all this, is that Kenny Omega will beat Rich Swann, will be the Impact champion, and then he will move on to face Kota Ibushi, and then after that, he'll go up against Okada and take the New Japan Championship with him. And then he will have all three belts, all collecting, and he'll move on to the fall, which he will meet up with Hangman Adam Page, and Page will beat him. And then we will go from there, basically. Now, if you agree with me or you don't agree with me, leave it in the comments on YouTube. Let me know what you think. And once again, look me up. Gun Hill Bane in the building. I will be on Instagram and I'll be on YouTube. So just be on the lookout. And I'd like to thank you all again for being part of this video. And I'm definitely going to be building more very, very soon. So once again, I want you to take care of yourself and each other. This is Gun Hill Bane in the building, signing off. See ya.